watching this. What? Nah, I don't want to watch those Hallmark fucking movies. It's kind of a good angle, isn't it? I mean, I can hear your Hallmark movies through the door, so no, you can. It's fine. I'm just saying. I just hear like corny lines through the door of like, you don't have to turn it down, Tamara. Like kind of messy, huh? This is probably better than the. This is what that camera looks like. It's like a cheap. It's like a cheap. Like a cheap little thing like this. I hate doing this. Every time I think about this, I think about people that are like they do this thing. You know what I'm talking about? Is this the right? How do they do? They like this, and they like this. Um. Oh, this is the phone that I have. Best phone in the world of the universe. It's I've literally dropped this so many times, and I have no cracks or anything. I've probably dropped it over 20 times. It's amazing. And there's a home button. Gotta have the home button, I feel like. And the home button's haptic feedback for the home button. Amazing engineering. Except it doesn't have an auxiliary cord or a 3.5 jack. This is bullshit, by the way. This is tap water that's in here. But I mean, it's it says bottled by Patriot LLC, Middletown, Massachusetts. So it's just they just decided to stick a Gatorade water label on it. Unflavored Gatorade water. A little bit of shit. It's good. It's good alkaline water though. You can. It does taste like, you know, that sort of that flavor. I mean, not now because this is tap water in it. But it did when it did. It did taste like. Oh, I guess because it has electrolytes for taste. This is what bottled water originally was supposed to look like. The tallness of it. I don't know what to say. And I really went through it today. Fighting something I don't want to talk about. Yeah, It's like it's like something that disturbs you. And your brain tries to not to think of the disturbingness. So I don't know. Yeah. I wish sometimes there was like a way to delete certain memories. Yeah, I'm gonna go dark now. I can sort of, but it's pretty dark. I don't mean to sound like melodramatic or anything, but it's pretty dark. Um, yeah. These things keep me busy though. This with the GPT and the I didn't know this about. Oh, this is crazy. The so in the I guess in the development of the post office, they not only decided to make it private, but they also decided to um, they decided to give it give a pay increase. They could have kept it. They could have kept it federal. So I was thinking about that. They did a strike or something. Strikes seem to be pretty effective. I don't know if protests are very effective, but strikes. And yeah. So I was thinking that I'm like, man. Oh, and then I was thinking this, and I was thinking like, if we did have if we had a choice to make sure that all state organizations were efficient, or the federal government was efficient, I think it might be easier because the federal government is one entity versus all these different collective states, you know? I was thinking about that. And then you throw all the sort of the lie heap and it just for me it just doesn't make sense that they, they put it on the states and they entrust the money with the states. Sometimes I am kind of happy there's things like this because then I can sort of gives me something to talk about and like we try things. So that's my point is that we try things. We try things with the post office. We're able to get things done and sign that into law basically. So this idea that we try things is false, or that we don't try things is false. We we try things, but I look at that sort of. I can't think of a. I mean the post office, man. What a big decision. And there's a post office day if you look it up. Feel very progressive and like, oh, there's a problem here. I mean, they could have kept it. They could have kept it federal and just fixed the wages. And but that's what I was talking to GPT about today. I was like, it's kind of interesting how how people can like, we think this may be a good idea, or like, I don't know how many people, whoever wrote the bill, and then that gets passed on, and then they get signed into law, and we try it. We go, okay, let's try it, and then here we are, 50 or 60 years later, and that's the USPS is known as the United. It feels like for such a service that is so a part of us. It feels like it should be this sort of federalized thing because they're federal employees. It feels so weird that it's, yeah. I don't want to sound redundant, so. But so we could make WIC and IE and all this. We could sort of make it a federal thing instead of a state thing. Why go through, why it just feels so inefficient to me. It feels like, I was talking to GPT and about this, and he said, some people think that, I was like, some people think that handing it over, or it was like, some people think that there's a consensus out there that the state can like better understand how the money's gonna be spent. And like, a bill's a fucking bill, man. How can, I don't know, let me see if I can find it. I was reading this and I was just like, the argument hinges on the idea that the states are closer to the people they serve, so they can supposedly make better decisions about how to distribute resources. But the reality is, these needs are the same everywhere, and there's little room for customization. In practical, local knowledge often just becomes the talking point to justify decentralization or avoid federal oversight. It assumes states are better equipped to manage funds, but what actually happens is variability. Some states mismanage, some states underfund, and others make it hard to access benefits. For something as universal as keeping the lights on, it feels like an arbitrary excuse rather than a logical or effective approach. Like that, they believe states know their populations better and can allocate funds more effectively based on local needs. I don't buy that. And he goes on to say that the argument also ignores the fact that many states lack the resources, infrastructure, or efficiency to handle these programs effectively. what ends up happening is inconsistency and inequality, where some states manage well while others flounder, leaving people undeserved. It feels like a convenient excuse to shift responsibility rather than a well-reasoned approach. Or well-reasoned approach. The logic assumes that local governments understand the specific economic challenges or cultural dynamics of their populations better than a centralized authority. In theory, they could tailor aid programs to match those nuances, but for universal needs like heating, food, or water, those nuances are very nuanced. People everywhere need to keep the lights on, eat, and stay warm. So that was I wrote a little thing, paper on it. Or me and GPT. So like a fucking movie, me and GPT. But yeah. So I feel like that could happen. But then you'd have to, that's what I was saying earlier, is like, you have to have this sort of, I feel like it's to make the government, the federal government, including the Pentagon, more effective. I think that's, if there was two realities, where we go into every single state and make sure, that takes too long. So I think it works out. And then the states are next. But at least to have that, because that's how it's supposed to be. Official and strong, reliant. For this, I was thinking, like, if they would, then it would indeed be a sort of, you would sort of have some sort of like a EBT card, but not an EBT card, a UBI card with your WIC benefits and your food stamps and your I just think that's the way especially with the LIHEAP stuff. It's easier to make sure that one entity is, and I don't, yeah, I guess I'll, it does, everything does go around that sort of like, how do you want the future you to visit Earth? Things have to make sense, though. I do know this. That's why I have a sort of a quandary with UBI. I think it would be more like credits or something, like a credits of what you can use for what. I don't think it would be just like, I can use this card anywhere. I don't think that's how it would be if there was UBI. I think it would be sort of like these sort of allocated credits of like specifically for housing, and then that housing would have to be in the same system of like, I pay my rent with this or this or that. They'd have to have the same sort of system. Just like when you go to EBT, you can't buy hot food. So you can, it knows that. So this sort of thing like this. We can do anything. Or, definitely don't want to pawn it off to some third party though. To that, like a Visa or you know, Citizens Alliance Bank. I definitely don't want to do that. Let me see what this is. Oh, I can't because it's required. I guess I use the phone. People won't like this one. I was thinking about this too. Having where the, you know, it sees it in the system as like, this is uh this is a toilet paper, or this is a deodorant, or something like this. Yeah, I don't. If I get some pushback on this one, but I don't feel like you should be able to pull cash out of your EBT card. I mean, if you can, fine. But I just feel like trying to find out what this quest is. What the quest is on the. Let's see if that's like a. Maybe the voice again. Maybe I'm schizophrenic. I heard like "fuck you" or something. Hmm. Maybe it's the TV. I don't think it's the TV. Hmm. I don't know. I hear these sort of like voices as if it's like yonder or something. Yonder. Is that weird? Yonder? I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Could be like psychosis or something, I don't know. temporary quest card. Because, let me see something. Yeah. Here's a New York state card here. It says Quest on it. So Quest UBI. But yeah, my point with the mail thing is that if we could do it with the mail, then we can make things. We can create laws. There's a need, like with the hurricane. I kept reading, not everybody can buy a hotel, not everybody has a family to go to, not everybody has the money to evacuate the area, So, I'll leave it at that. I don't know. I've never heard voices before like this. I'll leave it at that. I don't know. Oh, God, 27 minutes. What else? The internet, the hotspots. Yeah, I'll put the paper in the description.